Well, semifinals is officially over. We punched our ticket to the CrossFit Games, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. I think in the back of my mind, I knew it was definitely a possibility, but I wasn't sure how it was going to happen. And really, things fell into place for me. My back held up the entire weekend. A lot of people were like, no, it wasn't a miracle. A miracle is hard work, plus opportunity, plus discipline and obedience. Listening to God and listening to intuition, listening to my body. I just feel like that's exactly what happened the entire weekend. All the hard work, plus luck, you need that, allowed for the weekend to go the way that it did. Getting ready for the CrossFit Games now, and we're just gonna see what happens. Going into day one, I was so nervous. Honestly, with each workout, but especially the first workout, it was a make or break. It was either I knew that I was gonna be able to do it or I wasn't gonna be able to. Meaning the sled pull, that was the scariest kind of one for me on day one, just because I did that in training, and every time I did it, it hurt my back. So once I got on the floor and I pulled for the first time on the sled, I was like, all right, we got this, we're doing it. And so that's kind of how I felt like day one went, and the results kind of showed for themselves. We got through day one, and I was like, how am I on the top of the leaderboard? This is weird. So that was really cool, just to see all the hard work and the less is more mentality really pay off on day one and work to my advantage. Going into day two, it was a very nerve-wracking day just because there was a lot of heavy lifting with both of the events, and I just haven't done a lot of that. So I was really worried about, is my back gonna hold up? And if it does during the workout, how is it gonna feel after? I got through day two and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I have zero pain, which doesn't make sense. And I just felt like the word that came to my mind the entire time was like, I just feel like a miracle. Like I feel like a walking, talking miracle. Yeah, so going into day three, I was actually a little bit more nervous with day three than day two, just because those were good workouts for me, but it was gonna take a lot of technical work on my end and just keeping my head space in the right area. So I just didn't want to make any mental mistakes, because especially on that last workout, if you had any type of mental mistake, you could go from like first place to 30th place in a matter of seconds. So I was just overall proud of how I did on day three. Yes, there was things that maybe I would have liked to do differently, but honestly, when I got done with that last event and I ran straight over to Randy and Perrin, I was just like, we did it. So. It's funny that I'm getting emotional now because I felt like I didn't have any emotions after the event, and I was like, what's wrong with me? A little bit, because I was like super relieved. Yeah, it was just a big sense of relief, just getting through the weekend, and that my back held up, and that what we did throughout the whole season so far, it worked out, because I was like really, I mean, it's still scary, but it's really scary just not doing a lot and just hoping that it's enough on the floor. So yeah, I was really proud of everything that I did. The biggest thing that I feel kind of going into the CrossFit Games this year is definitely a sense of relief. It's been a really scary year. I thought in the back of my mind, okay, I can go to the CrossFit Games, but I just really wasn't sure how it was all gonna play out, and just like the perfect puzzle pieces just fallen into place all year long. So kind of going into it, I feel a lot more peace than I do semifinals. And I think a lot of people feel that way because you almost have to prove your worthiness, that you're still ready and fit enough to even make it to the CrossFit Games. And I feel like when everyone makes it, but especially for me this year, it's just like a sense of relief. You're like, oh, okay, now I can have fun. It's a longer weekend. There's more events. There's obviously more for things to go wrong, but there's also a lot more for things to go right. It's a fun event. I like going outdoors, and there's just so many things that are outdoors, and a lot of running, a lot of biking and swimming. So it's just that there's workouts literally outside with like the rig and everything. So it's definitely something I like to do more, and I'm just pumped. I'm excited to get out there and see what happens. Yeah, I think it's really important for me to tell my story this year, just because this has been a lot of risks. It's been very scary. There's also been so many cool things that have happened. And so I think going into just filming everything this year, it puts the pieces together for me. And I think it's always something that I'm gonna remember more vividly with having cameras and videos of all this stuff. So I'm just excited to be able to do this and honored that I have community that allows me to do stuff like this. And it's cool just to be surrounded by people that love me and are advocates for me and being able to share my story. We're working on something super special right now, and I can't wait to share this full story with you.